Welcome. The regular meeting of the Board of Trustees for June 18th, 2024. This meeting in honor of our past superintendent, Dr. Sheddick. I'm sorry. Who passed away recently. And it's very important. He was a very important superintendent. And we're really going to miss him. So this meeting is in his honor. And I appreciate all that. All the people, with respect, if we'd like to just take a second and of silence for him, I appreciate it. Thank you. We have 3 items that were took action in closed session. The first one was the approval of a rejection.
I think we have to reconvene.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did we not reconvene? Oh, I'm sorry. We are reconvening 6:05. And report on action taken in closed session pursuant to Government Code 54957.1. Following actions were taken in closed session. 5.01 on a vote of 4-0 with a motion by Mr. Greg Teepee and seconded by Rosemary Mann, or approve the rejection of claim for damages on behalf of student 710504552. And that was a roll call vote. Again, 4-0.
Not a roll call vote.
Oh, I thought we did all of them.
Just the last one.
Okay, well, second is 5.02. Again, on a vote of 4-0. Motion by Miss Pamela Starlson, second by Miss Rosemary Mann. The board approved the rejection of claim for damages on behalf of student 7104428. Finally, in closed session, the board approved by a unanimous majority of 4-0 a settlement agreement with a parent in which the district agreed to provide the parent $75,000 in exchange for the parent's dismissal of a pending lawsuit against the district and release of any and all claims. And that motion was made by Mr. Teepee, Greg Teepee, and seconded by Ms. Pamela Starlson.
It was a roll call vote.
And that was a roll call vote, yes. Oh, okay, and the names were Ms. Pamela Starlson, Ms. Rosemary Mann, Mr. Greg Teepee, and myself, Dwayne Wynn. We are the 4-0 vote. So that was it. Now we've reconvened open session, and we'll ask Ms. Rosemary Mann to lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the republic, to standards, one nation, under God, all with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Rosemary. Now we'll call upon our short timer, Rebecca Cooksey, to give us the education all by the report.
Good evening, board. Very short time. So in UTK through 8th grade, 14,118 students. In ECE, we have 496 students. for a grand total of 14,614 students. That's a loss of 23 from our last report, but a gain of 116 from the same time last year. Additionally, this year we had 1,000 homeless students and 436 foster students.
Thank you, Rosemary. Sorry. You're right, I'm having a tough time deciding who's who. Now, move on to consolidated application. Dr. Goins.
Good morning, or afternoon, good afternoon, good late afternoon. So this is just a small informational item regarding our funding sources that we do receive in the state from the state of California and the federal government, Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV. So today on the board agenda is going to be an approval of the consolidated application, which we're approving tonight is going to be an actual approval for me to be able to say submit and say, yes, we are going to receive those funds based upon the fact that we are going to continue to stay very clear about maintaining efficacy with those statutes that they have put in place for us. So I just wanted to make sure you were aware of that and make sure that you had an opportunity to be able to see what those assurances were so that we can be in a good place moving forward. So thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to presentation. You're first. This is Misty Sibley from Desert View School. Misty Gale.
Thank you for the opportunity tonight to let you know what's going on at Desert View for the past year and what we're looking forward to in the future year. My name is Misty Sibley and I am the principal. We're going to start out with, we could forward through all of the beginning slides. And have you seen them before? Because I'm second to present. Okay, so our commitment statement,
Clicker.
core values. I'll start here. So for the 23 through 26 year goal, our academic growth, prioritizing academic achievement by committing to academic growth through rigorous teaching and learning. So for Desert View, this year we had at the end of the year, we had a change in our site instructional coach, and we plan to focus next year on teacher and para support with our new coach, early literacy, literacy intervention, PLCs, and additional support for tier 2 and 3 students, utilizing our intervention teacher, and continuing the focus on teacher clarity that we started with last year. We'll continue with it. Focus on standards-based instructions versus following the curriculum. We are going to work by standards and not so much following the basic guide of a curriculum. Increasing the diligence in the use of SSTs, proactive planning and progress monitoring. We really want to start working earlier in the year with our kids who are needing academic and behavior. So we will be focusing on that first and foremost at the beginning of the year. And of course, we still have attendance issues. So we'll have an attendance blitz of activities throughout the year and building a one-on-one relationship campaign where every student will have an adult that they can identify with on campus. So we're going to put together a big wall that we're going to put in the cafeteria where they say who is their person. So that's the beginning of the year plan. Next, for engagement, we will continue with our social media campaign. We have an Instagram account, Facebook, and we communicate through Parent Square. Monthly student and parent activities with our PTA and or site planned activities. Our PTA started last year and they are phenomenal. And they have lots of family events that we do monthly, normally twice a month, and we'll continue with that. We have a Junior Star Ambassador community that performs community services for, they do food drives. We feed the hungry at Race Resource 3 times a year. And We do October, we have all kinds of things. And the kids also mentor younger kids on the playground. They have little vests that they walk around and help do communication. We're again going to be having targeted relationship building, because we believe that's primary and important. Focus on increasing our parent involvement on campus throughout the school day, through recruiting, utilizing our family ambassador. Our family ambassador is wonderful. She currently teaches our parents homework tips to help their kids, and the adults, she has separate classes for them, helping them achieve their own high school diplomas and so on and so forth. And she's really, really good at recruiting people and getting them in. And this year was the first year we've actually had parent volunteers back on campus since COVID, and it's been really great. Enjoyed that. And we want to continue trying to reach out to the community and our parents and get them involved as well. Safety. We are one of the strategic schools, elementary schools, and we have implemented our hot buttons, and building response systems are fully up and running. Our staff has been trained on that. They've also been trained in Catapult, PBIS, CKH, SEL support. We have 13 new staff members coming on board next year, so we will be repeating this process. MTS, the training for teachers is based on skill level and their foundational knowledge, so we will continue with the TSS training. SEL intervention, focusing on coping skills for our tier 2 and tier 3 students. Like I said before, we have an intervention, a teacher, a social emotional learning teacher who comes in. We get together as a team and decide which kids need to further intervention. And she pulls those kids 4 days a week for 20 minutes a day for additional 6-week sessions of SEL lessons. And we have seen a decrease in our ODRs, and we're hoping that continues that way. Equity. Well, not hoping. Hope is not a strategy. We are planning. We're continuing SIMS training and the implementation of this support and designing appropriate tier 2 and 3 behavior and SEL interventions. We use community circles, and we are looking into hiring an outside agency for support and training for improved behavior and SEL support. Managing tier 3 behaviors in the classroom will be the focus, because we have, as everybody does, such a large number of tier 3 behavior kids. It's a daily thing where they're alone in class several times a day. They're jumping fences. It's just like, we haven't seen it before. So we need help for our teachers to be able to still teach and try to help manage those behaviors in their classroom without disrupting the whole campus. So we're going to look at an outside agency to help us with that. Fiscal stewardship. We monitor our SIPSA with our school site council and our ILT team. We also engage in plan, do, study cycles, the ILT team. So the next screen is a data screen that I'm not going to ask you to try and focus on. I'll send you a copy of this if you'd like. I'm just going to talk about our attendance. For the school year, we had the majority of our months were still in the red. We are still not meeting our goal of getting out of that chronic attendance issue. And we work diligently on trying to do that. But we do that by weekly attendance meetings. We have phone calls home. We do home visits. We have attendance conferences and make agreements with parents. Our front office staff does on-the-spot parent meetings when they come in. Student attendance summaries weekly. And for incentives, we have multiple levels of raffles, special assemblies. We have meals that have been donated by our community partners. Denny's gives us pancakes, Panda Express, Costco pizza, so they can achieve and be invited if they have attendance for a week or two, however long the goal is, by coming to school on time every day and not leaving early. So we're going to continue with that. That seemed to help a little bit. And as well, we have assemblies, and we had a color run and all types of activities for those students heading to get them to come to school Friday. Our behavior this year, have the data sheet, the next slide. In August, September, and October, at the beginning of the year last year, we were trying to get our SEL program up and going and running. By October, we had it up. We had students being seen. And you can see that it was positive. The Swiss referrals, ODRs went down. And except for the month of February, which was an outlier, and I believe the whole district had problems. Speaking with my friends and my other principals. So we're going to take a closer look at that this year, at the beginning of the year. Our academic information slide is, we are from 23 and 24 to, from 22 and 23 to 24, 23, 24, we kind of remain stagnant. We have work to do still. As far as iReady data, I'm hoping CAS will give us better results, so we'll have to wait and see for that. But we again have trainings and continuing with the teacher clarity and our MTSS program, and we are going to be monitoring our small groups, our PLCs, with an administrator for at least twice a month, so that we can all work together to move that back into the green section. And our EL students, we were very successful this year. We had 158 EL students reclassified. And there, the two slides show who were fully exited and then who were monitored. We have some in both categories. Exited and just ones that are on monitor status now. So for math, it's pretty much the same as language arts. We are still struggling to move into the green, and we will be working harder and a more focused energy on exactly how the plan will work, not just setting lofty goals. We're going to have iReady meetings in our PLC on a weekly basis and sharing that information with our students and their parents. Challenges, areas this year and looking forward, attendance continues to be a challenge. 3 teachers resigned in the middle of the year. That was very difficult. We've had ineffective teacher support that has been corrected. Our campus supervisor was out for medical leave for the majority of the year. Our Tier 3 behaviors in the classroom and the playground, like I said, they were we had multiple students eloping several times a day, and we had to evacuate classrooms due to extreme behaviors. So that was a challenge. I've had a new assistant principal every year for the past 3 years, so that's a personal challenge for me. But I'm looking forward to next year working with my new assistant principal. Beginning of the year, we have unfilled positions and a lot of long-term subs. Looking forward to new staff in 24-25. We are going to need a new assistant principal, health office staff. They're all leaving. One of our counselors is leaving. Our psych has left. 2 RSP teachers, and we have 6 new teachers coming to Desert View and a new instructional coach. The 6 new teachers. Part of the reason we have new teachers is we have added an additional 2nd grade and an additional 4th grade to our campus, and the others leaving, the majority of them left due to moving out of state or moving on to a higher position, so on and so forth. So it's not that they're unhappy, it's a majority. Like successful things and things to celebrate. Community events, we have every year our annual Winter Wonderland, food drives, talent show, turkey trot, color run, incentive assemblies. We have a BMX presentation, a puppet show, a magician, a petting zoo. We have lots going on all year long for our kiddos. We also had a blood drive. Implementation of the SEL intervention program has been successful. And implementation of the Upper Grades Learning Center. We have had an instructional intervention teacher for 4 through 6. And that was very beneficial for those kids. I can send you the data on them as well. We have also a program we call Super Starbucks, where staff recognizes other classes and they turn in a recognition, and I announce them on Friday and they receive a star bell. It's not the dream for stars, so it's a star dollar. And when they accumulate 10, they get their first reward. And they get 20, they get the next level. We also have a staff Starburst Award where we recognize a classified and certificated staff every week during morning announcements on Friday. District PE and weekly PLCs have just been the bomb.com. They have really helped my teachers be able to be cohesive in the planning together and creating CFAs. And so we really are thankful for that. District coach support with grade level planning. We had at the end of the year, our gracious CIA coaches came in and worked with our kindergarten, first, second, and third grade, did their planning and their master schedule together as a group. And so they will start the year off with the same schedule, doing exactly the same and sharing their expertise with each other. And they are going to come back. Krista lets them come for our 4th, 5th, and 6th grade at the beginning of the year. That was a fabulous experience to have them come in and work with our teachers. The teachers were thrilled with it as well. PBIS training, check-in, check-out, and breaks are better happened this year. District coach support with grade level planning. I said that, sorry. All right, we have a folklore team, we have a drill team, we have an honor choir, we have after-school tutoring and gate club. We're also going to be speaking to Erie about adding a sports program to after school and see if we can get that up and running. We are home away from home. That's our tagline. And we really believe in fostering familiarity with each other, and every student is treated like family. And I like that my students feel that they're safe when they come to my school and they love coming. And so that is Desert View snapshot. Question?
Thank you, Misty. I was impressed going back in your presentation. There was 145 students reclassified.
And 53, I think it was. But
I mean, that's amazing.
they were, some are monitored, but I think it was like 16 that exited out of the program. So it's positive.
That's reclassification means that when they get to the high school level, they don't have that classification. I believe they fall behind on their A to G requirement. So reaching reclassification is very important. Very important. And I understand about the attendance.
Hey,
I didn't like going to school when I was in school either, but my mother and father made sure I did.
this is a new issue nationwide, so I know what that Desert View is not alone. We're all
No,
trying
it's
to figure
not
that
alone.
out, right? Yeah.
I think all schools have an issue with attendance. And
That's
I don't
one
know,
of the reasons
what to say. It's not the teachers. The
No.
teachers want the students there.
And I was starting to say, I'm sorry I interrupted you, but that's one of the reasons I believe it's really important that we build those bonds and those interactions with our parents. Our
Right.
parents are the ones who get them there every day, and we know that. And so that's going to be a heavy focus for our attendance team this year, asking them to volunteer for things, those especially looking for the chronically attending kids and asking their parents to be involved in a certain, a targeted area. So we're gonna try harder.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Misty. Next, we have Miss Lorraine Zapata from Joshua School.
Out with the Jets. We are Jets breaking barriers and building leaders. That's our new tagline. That's from our final. Joshua by the numbers. It tells a little bit of the story, but not all. We have about 573 students, 100% qualified for free and reduced lunch, which we all know. 98 multilingual learners, 5% foster, 374 TK3 teachers, and 12 teachers with 0 to 5 years of experience. And so when you're putting all of that together with the high need school, that does bring challenges. But what I want to say is that Joshua engages in collaborative needs assessment and root cause analysis to concentrate on high impact evidence-based strategies for improving first instruction. You can't get to first instruction if you don't get to attendance. So I'm going to start with attendance. Our attendance overview, it fluctuates. It's gone up, gone down, 84.05 for the year for 2021. 22-23, we went up to 89.42. This year we went down again to 87.82. I would also offer that our subgroups, which has the highest rate of non-attending, is our African American population, followed closely by our Hispanic, and halfway through that are white. Part of what I believe is occurring is that we have a community that has great need. We have 122 Hazel Health referrals, and my LVN is out there hustling, trying to get our parents to sign up for Hazel Health. Because as we're making phone calls home, our parents are telling us our kids are sick, I'm sick, I can't get my Medi-Cal transferred. And so we have gone out, we have done 26 home visits for the super chronic. We have 3,717 unverified absences, and this is even with and this is way better than last year. I didn't get last year's data, but I will tell you it's less than last year because of Parent Square. Our parents that actively use Parent Square, they will get their attendance done. But I want you to look at the unexcused, 3,433. What that means is that parents are taking their kids out for Disneyland or family vacations, or they're just not coming to school because they don't feel that they need to. We did have 670 excused, and we had 824 doctor visits. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, so our chronic attendance, I highlighted this because I wanted you to see it by grade level and numbers. I highlighted all of the percentage of students that have chronic attendance in UTK, which is 20 out of 29 students. Now, I know that UTK is not just general ed. UTK, we also have a section of severely handicapped in there, and they do have health issues. I didn't separate that data in UTK, K, and 1, but we do have some health issues that are in there. But I highlighted all of the ones that were over 50%. In 21-22, our base data, we had 72% of our students that were chronically absent. 22-23, it declined by 18.7%. That's when we implemented our phone calls home and teachers calling during the school day. So 30 minutes of our staff meeting, they were making phone calls home for our kids. But what we found, it did decline by 18.7. This year, it only declined by 6% using that same methodology. I'm not sure what the answer is other than just trying to remove the barriers to parents being able to get their kids to school. Part of what we found cancer. We had cancer at 3 different homes that we went to, a lack of being able to move their Medi-Cal from LA City or where they lived before into Lancaster. A lot of movement, a lot of parents who did not have access to internet or access to transportation, only 1 car in the family, not comfortable using public transportation. So what I didn't say there is our home visits. I did those home visits that I conducted. It wasn't just me. Dr. Goins went with me. I was taking a lot of paper with me as I was doing the home visits, and he goes, "Lori, you need to do that." So then I got snacks, and I just went in to figure out what are the barriers to your kid attending school. And so I didn't say that earlier, and I want to make sure that I do. We used improvement science to work on behavior because we know that we are having some major issues with behavior. you will see that we went from 56 to 81 out of school suspensions. And I would say most of that is very disproportional. You'll look at the Swiss behavior tracking. It was about February. We had 2 safety public forums for all of our parents to come. And we found that ODRs were not being written and behavior was not being tracked. We too had students eloping in 5th grade. We too had students leaving the classroom without permission, but it was not being tracked. And so we went from, in 22-23, 3.95 per student, which means that they had 3 referrals. Most students had 3 referrals, to almost 10 referrals from February to the end of to June. The highest referrals were in 5th grade, 4th grade, and kindergarten. And in the classroom were 1,285 referrals for ODRs. That tells the story about a lack of routines and procedures and engagement. And we found that the root cause, and now through improvement science, what we found is first we needed to track, and then now we need to make sure the classroom management is up and running. So I'll talk about that next. Okay. Nope. At the end, I'm sorry. I'd like to talk a little bit about iReady data. And I went back 3 years, 21, 22, 22, 23. That's right. Yes, 3 years of CAS data. And the reason I'm doing this is because we've really been monitoring our data because of the ELSB grant. And if you notice, we had a 13% growth in phonemic awareness, and this was the first year that we put into place Heggerty. We had a growth in phonics, high frequency words, but I think the piece that stood out to me the most was our CAS data, where we went from meeting 3% in 2019 to 11% of our students meeting or exceeding at grade level. And that was a huge shift for our school. In 22-23, we had 7% growth in phonemic awareness, and this meant that kids kept that phonemic awareness that we had taught them the year before, and so we were able to add on to that. We had a 20% growth in phonics, and this was the first year of implementation of SIPs, and I wouldn't say that it was succinct. I would just say that we implemented it. We had 15% growth in high frequency words, 16% growth in vocab, and our students on grade level, according to iReady, went from 29 to 86, 22-23. And in CAST, our African American students increased by 10.3 in ELA. English language proficiency increased by 7%. Those are our EL learners. In 23-24, 16% growth in phonemic awareness from the beginning of the year. That was huge. 17% growth in phonics, not as much as last year. However, 25% growth in high frequency words, and high frequency words are a key to reading, and it's part of what we must do in order to ensure comprehension and move our kids into grade level. 24% growth in vocabulary, and this is another area that we are working on. Vocabulary is part of comprehension for us, and we know that that is what is going to get our kids to grade level. Our kids moved from 18 to 60 at grade level according to iReady data. They either met or exceeded. That is huge. 3rd grade data so far showed that 11% of our students were meeting or exceeding, which was up from 3%. I haven't gotten this year's CAS data, but I'll be interested to see what it is. I am so excited by the academic increases that are happening at our school. And I think that our teachers are working hard. Part of what we did was we have PLCs. We started PLCs the 2nd week in August. And my rec leader and myself taught PE until we got a PE teacher, because that is how important PLCs are to us. Our teachers need that time so that they are delving deeply into everything that we do. I can't say enough how much our district has supported us with PE, how much they have supported us with every step of this journey. Our CIA department, our instructional coach, our literacy coach, everybody is focused on every child has a full right to read. And that is our mantra. That is what we do, because you have choice when you successes and things to celebrate. Weekly PLCs. We also conducted PLCs for our MTSS paras. You will find the MTSS paras at our site can teach SIPs. They track data. They have their own PLC and try to figure out what they can do to help and assist students. We also had a Stanford study on literacy, and we have provided PD across the state. We just finished a CDI with the dyslexia state conference. Jenny and I presented on One School's Journey. We had 6 days of training in teacher clarity, which we now have a process in place for formative assessments. We had 3 days of training in iReady Math. Structured planning for all grade levels. Our Getting Reading Right training was completed. We implemented structured literacy in K-5. That means that in 4th and 5th grade, those students who are not reading in 4th and 5th grade are receiving the instruction they need to become readers. Small group instruction in K-5, that's everybody does small group instruction. Nobody gets out of that. We've had multiple community events. We had our first day of school, we did a mini community event where we invited Penny Lane to come in so that they could see the therapist face to face. We now have 3 days of Penny Lane because our parents could see the face of who was going to help their child. And we had a lot of signups, and they came back for every community event that we had. Along with that, we had the high school, it's adult learning at the high school. And then we also had a person from the college that came, and that was all on the first day. They've been with us through all of our community events. We had 19 vendors at the one community event that we did, including giving away food, salvo with diapers. We've had 2 baby showers for our parents. My parent ambassador is a go-getter, and she takes care of our community. I can't talk enough about improvement science, because one of the things that you have to ask in improvement science is who is not at this table and who does not have a voice. When we started all of this, we didn't have a student voice at our table talking about behavior. We didn't have a parent voice at the table talking about behavior, but once we got them on, we were able to do a lot of work and do targeted work for our behavior. All of our students are leveled for this next year by their ELA achievement, by their math achievement, and by their behavior. And we will have a math interventionist, an ELA interventionist, and a behavior interventionist, a person that will help with behavior. He's a community member that comes in to help us and assists us. He's a volunteer. And what I will say for this is that getting kids what they need now is part of what we believe in, and it's part of what studying and figuring out what the data looks like helps us do. And sorry. Okay, our challenges. Part of what we identified in our root cause analysis was trauma-informed practice. We needed training, so we are working with FACO to get some trauma-informed practice training. We also want to focus on early intervention for attendance. That first month, who's coming, who's not. Dr. Mariotti set out a link to a great attendance video, and I think having students' pictures up every day at the front of the classroom saying they're missed is part of what we need to do and make those connections with our kids. We have a YAG onboarding for all new staff, and what year at a glance. I know I always wondered about that YAG. And what we're going to do is our coach is going to train. They're going to implement. They will have a lesson study with grade level or their teacher, whoever, however they want to do that, depending on what the topic is. A debrief with the coach, and then I come in to see exactly what they're doing. And what we've identified so far is SIPS, integrity, CKH, PBIS, math, small group instruction, where we 21-day protocol. And all of those will have a recursive circle so that we make sure that classroom management and everything that teachers need is in there. And that came from improvement science. We're going to keep our MTSS system of support and make sure that we're meeting our kids' needs. The one thing that we did notice that we have a challenge with is the SST process with inclusion, and they're not understanding how to change behavior. That's why you saw so many ODRs in kindergarten, because they didn't understand that you've got to, it's like every 2 minutes, you've got to give them something every 2 minutes, positive praise or whatever it is that that they will work for. And that 2 minutes getting it done, it was difficult for our teachers. And so we really need to get into that SST and make sure that we have progress monitoring. We also are implementing the progress monitoring every 2 weeks. And this is, Vince helped us determine and get this cycle up and running. We will be refining our behavior system. And we have an addition of 6th grade coming to our site. And we also have 7 SDC classes that are coming to our site. I think the other thing that we must work on is student activities for engagement. Because I have so many teachers who are in college and in classes, it's difficult for them to do things after school. I am so grateful for the after school program and the things that they bring. And we need to get better about using that and getting those systems in place. And last but not least, we're going to have a music teacher next year, so I'm really excited. The last slide, after questions, but I'm just going to let you know, this has Ed Working Papers, the Stanford study. It's got California's Reading Dilemma, which was an EdSource article that Joshua is part of. The middle part is a link to the California Dyslexia Initiative Conference this year. On the other part is Improving Early Literacy Achievement, which we presented at Lakeland. And then the last one is the Christian Science Monitor article. Too many kids in California can't read. Phonics alone may not be the fix. But here's what I'm going to say. Reading's a civil right. And Joshua is doing the work. And I am proud. I know we have work to do, but we are doing the work. So, questions?
Thank you, Lorraine. Question? Well, I'll say you're doing a great job, Joshua. And really like the fact that you have a new music teacher. That is an important part of education. No matter what anybody says, arts and music is very, very important. So thank you very much for your time and your presentation. Move to local indicators report. Dr. Goins, back again.
First of all, I'm going to thank you right now for giving me this opportunity to be able to provide the report on the local indicators as we're moving into 24-25. But I'm going to promise you that this is the last time you're going to hear me speak this school year. All right. Okay, anyway. So first of all, I want to congratulate everyone to making it to this point in the school year. We made it. We're to a point where we have gotten to the end of the school year. We're able to walk away and be able to start thinking about what next year is going to look like. I'll let the board know you attended 26 board meetings, 2 board meetings a month. You have done a phenomenal job. So before I get started here, I do want to recognize that tonight you will also be in a position where you will be, where you are going to be, you're going to be approving the local control and accountability plan. I do want to recognize that tonight you're going to be approving the LCAP. This document is one in which we have been able to make a very clean tie to the strategic plan as the LCAP incorporates safe facilities, personnel, and does so in such a way that allows for a complete transparency in how we are showing our priorities with our plan, budget, and to our community. I'm going to say this: show me your budget and I will show you your priorities. I'm going to take it a step further. Show me your plan plus your budget and I will show you your priorities. in 24-25, moving into 24-27. That's what I believe that you're going to see in our local control and accountability plan. So I did want to make sure that you guys were aware of that, because that's something that is coming up very soon as an individual action item. But this tonight is all about the local indicators. So why do these matter? So Dr. Marietti often talks about us telling our own story. We have to tell our own story. That we have to make sure that we're talking to the public and telling them what we're doing and how we're doing it and when we're doing it and how to the effect and who is affecting and how it's doing so well for people. If you don't tell your own story, then somebody's going to tell it for you. We know this. So because of that, the local indicators were created for the state of California under the California State Dashboard System. This is our way of being able to report our progress on the work that we're doing, irrelevant of the outcomes that we've received at this particular point. So this is almost a piece of us saying, this is the process. This is the work we put in. This is the work we continue to put in, and these are our next steps. So that's what this is about tonight. So we're going to go through this. We're going to go through this really quick. So first of all, the local indicators are part of the California dashboard system, like I said just recently. When we report on local indicators, we are receiving a standard MET on the California dashboard, which is saying that we fulfilled the obligation of us reporting out the information that we provided. This translates into us having reported out the information that we said that we were going to report out, and providing the board, the community, and everybody who's listening the opportunity to say, this is the work that Lancaster School District is doing currently, and these are the outcomes we're getting. So when I say youth, you've seen plenty of that data, lots of numbers, 5.6, 76% for approval rates for this, that, and the other. That's us being able to have that conversation about talking to you about that's part of this report. So the local indicators are the way in which we show and report progress on locally collected data. So overview of the state and local indicators, and this kind of shows you the whole emphasis as to how we're required to report out to the state. The data we speak of in this particular context is going to be the local indicator pieces. So it's going to be the ones that are on this side of it, let's say local indicator as opposed to state indicator. So state indicator would be like our CASP scores. We have to report on a quantitative measure like test scores, ELA, math, chronic absenteeism, suspension. That's something that the state just they give us the data based upon the information that we report in other databases. In this particular space, this is where we get to tell a little bit of a story. So the data we speak of in the local indicators are the following. So first one is priority one, it's basic conditions of schools. You've heard me say teachers, toiletries, and class and facilities, something to that effect. I've said it way funnier in the past. But this is really what this is the opportunity for us to have clean and secure facilities, teachers, great educated teachers ready to do the work, supplies, textbooks, et cetera, those kinds of pieces. The question that we're answering with this particular local indicator is this: did we provide these aspects to students in the way that we were supposed to, based on what we are supposed to do in our with the work that we do? Priority two talks about implementation of state academic standards. Did we provide training to support our teachers in the relevant content areas? Are we helping our teachers along in being able to understand an ELD framework or an ELA framework and being able to understand how the standards intertwine with the actual the work that we do in terms of our curriculum? Priority three talks about parental engagement. Did we have a process in place or a space to support our families? Were we supporting our families? This includes training, providing support with family engagement opportunities, et cetera. So this comes a lot from our Student and Family Services Department right now. Priority 6 talks about our local climate survey. This is where a little bit of fun. This is that youth truth information again. Are we providing information? Are we getting information from our families so we can make decisions? And that priority 7 talks about access to a broad course of study, which is, for us, it's a little bit nebulous because of the fact that we go up to K-8 and only go up to K-8, but this is how we track students getting access to the courses that will support them moving forward in their education. So those courses that are going to give them access to from high school to pathways on into college. That's the focus there. So all in all, this provides us the opportunity to review the status of our district in a different way. With this report, we have done most of this work already, like I've said, so I'm going to go through some of this information relatively quickly and just point out some highlights, just so that we can focus on some spaces. So I want to make sure I'm just going to explain the actual that we use with the state in order to make this out, report this information. Starting with priority 1. This priority talks about appropriately assigned teachers, access to curriculum aligned instructional materials, and safe, clean, functional school facilities. Very simply put, we're doing good here. We have, our kids have textbooks, our teachers have textbooks, and they have teachers in the classrooms. They're doing good work for that. We've got teachers in the classrooms, and our facilities are doing well. Our facilities are considered to be in sufficient and good repair. Prior to see how quick that was, so now we're going to jump to number 2. This is our self-reflection tool for the implementation of state academic standards. This gets a little bit thicker. So in terms of implementing state academic standards, again, this is all about how we are training our staff in the state adopted content and curricular standards. And it's about how we are implementing those standards through training and making sure that our staff has the adequate resources to be able to make sure that things are happening for them, make sure that they're able to work through, being able to work through things. And this particular one, this is about professional learning in the core subject area. So how are we professionally developing teachers, staff, and not just staff, but even our site administrators towards the accountability angle, so that they can make sure that they're being able to monitor the work that's going on in the classrooms. In this particular space, we are generally where we need to be. However, let me just explain this to you. So you see a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you're looking at a 1, that means that we are exploring. We're in a research phase. We haven't even started the implementation process. If you see a check under a 2, that means that we're beginning the development of all of this work, which means we might be we kind of started to making moves. We put our toe in the water to see if this is going to work, how this is going to work. A 3 means that we are in initial implementation, and we can come in and out of the initial implementation based on a lot of different things. That could be because of the way standards are being written, the way things are moving back and forth, or just how curriculum is working. Next year, the likelihood that we're going to have, when we start going out and start looking at new curriculum, that might put us back a little. A 4 means we're at full implementation. We're doing the work, we're making things happen, we're up and running, and once we're at full implementation plus sustainability, that means we're doing the work, and it will out-survive us. That's where we want to be. So at this particular point, our ELD pieces, that's the only one. Currently, at this particular point, we have EL chairs who are doing the training here, so I just wanted to point that out. At this point, we're at that initial, I wouldn't even say we're closer to the full implementation, but we're in a space where we are still exploring how we're going to be able to make that professional development happen at a better rate. Priority 2 talks about instructional materials. Do our students have access to quality instructional material? Down the line, we're 5s all the way through. Our students all have access to the instructional materials that they need in terms of history, social science, next generation science standards, math, the Common Core state standards, English language development, and English language arts. So this measures the policies and the programs to support staff in identifying areas of need. So this is how do our staff provide that voice back as to what do I need to be trained further on, or how I need to be able to make this work out really better. In this particular area, again, we've been pretty proactive in making sure that our staff is well attuned to understand, that we're attuned to our staff's needs, listening to our staff as to what they do. Ms. Thompson is extremely proactive in making sure that after every training that she does with staff, that she's consistently asking that question through survey. So what's the next step? How are we going to implement? What are your next steps moving forward? What should our next steps be as a district? This one is the fun one. This talks about those, I'm not going to say purple because they're very important as well, but our health and education standards, physical education, and how we're implementing these standards. These are not considered core standards per se, but they are standards nonetheless that we work towards. In this area, we do have our PE model. We've really implemented a solid elementary PE program over the last 2 years. Really, this year has been really, really strong at all of our school sites with credentialed teachers focusing in that area. And on top of that, that's allowed our teachers to do other work in terms of these curricular pieces in focusing on PLCs and professional learning communities and those kinds of pieces. Visual performing arts, to be very honest, we're receiving so many resources right now from the state to be able to support this work that even next year is going to be even better and better. It's going to be consistently getting better and better and better. So when we talk about that work about a music teacher, that's going to be a significant gain in most of our elementary schools that we are so looking forward to. Just imagine the Christmas performances, imagine the holiday performances as we move forward So this final one, the LEA's ability to identify the needs with administrators and staff. So even further identifying the needs of with our administrators and staff, teachers. We are constantly surveying staff to ensure that we are working to provide support where needed. That has been evidenced by our recent survey of site admin in terms of what they perceive as their greatest areas of growth and what those are in relation to the district priorities around our major initiatives. Those major initiatives in the district outlined in the LCAP fall under an MTSS framework, but really focused on positive behaviors, interventions and supports, professional learning communities, and standards-based instruction. So priority 3, again, jumps into family engagement. This is the one that I'm seriously passionate about. One that I really feel that we've really done great work on and getting into a full implementation stage, and we're to the point where we're starting to push that envelope a little bit. At this point, we can say that we have various systems in place to support this work and have added on another piece in terms of training that many of our staff are taking from Scholastic. So you're going to be seeing a lot of work, and you're going to see our staff having those conversations back and forth with the families in terms of having a dual capacity framework, meaning that our staff is engaging our families and we're teaching our families how to engage in the schools in terms of volunteering and doing that work. So this one actually talks about building those relationships and how this is working for us. In this particular space, I put a check mark in 4 and 5 because it's one of those things that we're consistently having to work on in a good way. We have full implementation. We know what we want. Sometimes we're at that full implementation and sustainability, and other times when people move, things will shift and we have to retrain. So it's a consistent ebb and flow. So in this space, we were able to support our 11 sites in this family engagement because this talks about building partnerships for student outcomes, but the student outcomes piece is the piece. This is where we start talking about how are we focusing our family engagement, not just on the family engagement for the sake of all the fun and all the great opportunities for our staff and our families to have, but really how do we take those family engagement opportunities, take them up a notch, and make sure our families are equipped with tools to be able to be supported with reading skills or math skills when they come home and they're able to support their kids there. So in this space, we were able to support, like I said, 11 sites in training along with admin and family community engagement during various Saturdays between October and November. The highlight here is that we definitely have fully implemented resources, allocations for families. We continue into next year and looking towards full sustainability. So in this starts talking about the idea of seeking input from our families. So our district, we seek it consistently. We're always looking for something. You've seen thought exchanges come out from us regarding many of the different products that we've gone after over the last couple. We talked about like the little yonder pouches. Those came out through thought exchanges as well. We talked about surveys. We've got many things that we've asked for our families to be able to get input on. And on top of that, Dr. Marietti has the Superintendent's Advisory Council. We have our Ms. Queen has the District English Language Advisory Council. But then on top of that, there's another step to this. There's also the school site councils that every school in our district is required to have based on having Title I funds and receiving the money that they receive there. Also, there's also the piece of having English Language Advisory Councils and African American Advisory Councils as well. So all of these are us being able to support that decision-making pieces. So now that we're really getting into the AAAC piece, that puts us in a position where we're in an area of starting, we're building this up. School climate, again, youth truth, thought exchange. This year, this is a lowball number, but we were able to secure both qualitative and quantitative data from over 9,000 families, students, and staff throughout the district based on survey responses. Lancaster, and also having Lancaster's listening session, we were on the radio quite a bit, and LCAP family nights, Control Accountability Plan family nights. Input sessions were provided from October 23rd to May 2024, from October 2023 to May 2024. So you realize we start the LCAP, if approved tonight, we start building the next one next week. I take a week off from this part. But we start the process all over again. It never stops because we're always evaluating our systems. And that's the thing that we need to do in the systems. And this is a main piece, a key piece to this. We also have Hanover Research. They focus and support us in our family. So the last priority is priority 7, and this is access to a broad course of study. This measure we use, this is is how we evaluate how our students have access to that broad course of study. We use PowerSchool, Lancaster Interactive Dashboard, and we focus we have focused reviews on student populations to ensure that they're getting access to the things that they need, the courses that they need to move forward. So in this particular space, we have identified that there are always some issues in terms of scheduling. However, our teachers and our principals specifically are really as they're in the process of master scheduling right now, have allowed and provided for courses that will transcend and support our kids moving forward this year. I was just in a room with middle school principals this morning with their master scheduling. They're doing some serious work in that space. So visual and performing arts is offered at some of the elementary schools, and trainings of teachers have been held on various days to support our visual and performing arts pieces. We've actually just implemented a program called Soundtrack. So beginning of next year, we're going to be seeing that extensively. The teachers keep on sending me videos and reels of kids' voices rapping, which is really cool. So I'm looking forward to being able to share those with you as well. With this particular piece, we have the support of Prop 28, which is allowing us to be able to bring on music teachers. 80, 181, 185, which is our support with, this is the work that we're doing with Disney and Lego to be able to support that work. That's Disneyland and a lot of those pieces in helping us with those areas. And PE is provided to all students throughout Lancaster for a minimum of 200 minutes for every 10 school days. And we've allotted for, like I said earlier, credentialed teachers to support our PE program at the elementary level, which is, again, is a huge deal, Finally, with this particular piece, the main issue we see with this is always going to be the time in the day. I think we can all be pretty consistent in saying that there's never enough time in the day. So there's never enough time in the day to do everything we need in terms of teaching and learning this, because it's an ongoing process. But we found a lot of it. I can tell you we found a lot of it. We've done some solid work in being able to schedule out, be able to make sure that we're getting the required amounts of time that we need to get per subject area, but then even more so, really finding and being creative as to how we can support kids, which is why we have Ms. Robertson, who is supporting us in after school, which allows us to be able to support that ELO program and provide these awesome opportunities to kids so we can do a lot of that core work during the day and be able to focus on some extenuating growth pieces in the afternoon, as well as some tutoring pieces later on. So that's all being said. I can tell you that Lancaster School District is in a position where we are moving forward. We're moving into 24-25. I've got nothing but hope. I think that we've done some significantly great work in terms of building in good, solid structures, especially over the last couple of years, building structures and policies and practices and putting those into place and really narrowing them into a position where we can take our system and make it a system that's going to be sustainable and focused and help every student that we can. So with that said, I'll take any questions.
Are there any questions? So, Dr. Goins, do you have the budget necessary to continue continue to get the community support?
Is that a question? That's a question.
Yes, it is.
So I would say that community support, the budget is there. What it further is the will. And I think that we've got the will. And I think that we've got I've never seen it more powerful in this district in the last couple of years. Those are really engaged families and make sure that they're getting what they need, when they need, and how they need it. That's that equitable family engagement. So I can tell you with the team that we got here, Sam, Alicia, and I often spend a lot of time focusing in that area. Many of the other directors are the same. We've done I think this year we've done great work, and we're going to continue to do that work.
I just want to be sure that we have the budget necessary to continue to keep the public, keep our community aware of all the things that we're doing in our district.
So for that, just wait for working about it. There's going to be some cool stuff coming.
Thank you. I just want to say, usually when we have a guest from another school district, I'd like to point her out. She's in the back on the left, from the high school district. This is Danita Wynn. She's a board member for the Yellow Valley Union High School District. Thank you. Now, moving on to number 11. Have the adoption. Make a motion for the adoption of board resolution, compensation for missed meeting for Wayne Wynn. So moved. 2024.
Second.
I can't vote on it. We have a quorum if. All in favor?
I'll pass this 3-0.
Thank you. Adoption of, board resolution 2023, 24, 34, board compensation for this meeting for Mr. Childs in June. Man,
Second.
by Ms. Carlson. All in favor? Moving on to number 12, individual action items for educational services. Adoption of the Lancaster School District Local Control Accountability Plan. Motion by Ms. Mann.
Second.
Oh, thank you. By Ms. Carlson. All in favor? Okay. Vote passes. And number 13, a motion for the adoption of annual budget report by first 2024 single budget adoption. Aye. Ready?
Ready.
Individual action items, number 14. Second, motion for the approval of assistant principal
Scott Colcord.
Scott Oakland.
Colcord. Colcord.
Motion by Ms. Mann. By Ms. And a vote. Favor?
So we're reading it first and then we vote. I'm going to read about him first and then.
Oh.
Okay, so Mr. Colcord has been a history teacher for 21 years, with 20 of that time at Gifford Siege Cole Middle School and Eastside School District. He's been instrumental in technology, PBIS, Avid, and Team Court. He has a bachelor's degree in radio and television production and a second bachelor's in theatrical stage design. He is a proud father to 7 wonderful children and has many supportive friends who he considers family. After learning about Leonardo da Vinci as a kid, he set out to be a Renaissance man. He's done just that by immersing himself in many jobs like machinist at a brake shop, radio station manager, and finally landing on teacher. Scott has several hobbies, which include science fiction, Doctor Who, reading, and lastly, he is no stranger to hammer and nails.
All in favor? Aye. Vote passes 4-0.
And Mr. Colcord is here tonight.
Yay. Your family will know when you're weighing in on it Tuesday night what you're here for. And it's not always a boring, sometimes it's a. All right, second, motion for the approval Role of Assistant Principal
Todd Parker.
Parker. Carlson.
All right, Mr. Parker is currently an assistant principal of student services at John Muir Middle School in San Jose Unified School District. He has been in education for over 20 years, and his professional accomplishments include being a leadership team member that received the Illinois Spotlight Award and 2 state awards from the Arkansas Alternative Education Association as principal. He is proud of impacting young people in such a way that they still call him coach in their adulthood. In his free time, Todd likes golf, playing softball, cycling, and is a personality coach mentor. Unfortunately, Mr. Parker could not be here tonight. He is moving from San Jose down to Lancaster.
Thank you. So, all for the vote for Mr. Parker? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0. Hope he has a safe trip. Without any problem.
That's the plan.
And again, another request for a motion for the approval of assistant principal.
Jana Nastali, and she could not be here tonight as she's visiting family in Arkansas.
So moved.
All right, so Mrs. Nastali has been teacher of the deaf and hard of hearing for the past 15 years in Palmdale School District. She has taught 8th grade to preschool over that time and has more than 20 years teaching experience along with 2 years as the admin designee. She has a postmaster's degree for educational specialist in educational leadership with an emphasis in special education. Mrs. Nastali is proud that she is one of the primary writers for her school during a 5-year double authorization for international baccalaureate program and simultaneously a WASC accreditation. She enjoys spending time with her family and her 2 dogs. She enjoys learning new things, most recently golf.
All in favor, say aye. 4-0. Come aboard. D, motion for the approval of assistant principal.
Nino Torres.
So moved.
Seconded by Nelson.
All right, Mr. Torres has been working in education for 28 years as an administrator since 2001. He was the principal of alternative education for Southern Current for the past few years. He presently holds a master's in educational administration and a master's in special education. He is very proud of his house as he was able to buy his first one in his 50s. And with lots of hard work, he and his wife have made it a true home. Lastly, he enjoys gardening, fishing, and is learning about farming because they have acreage. He's with us tonight.
Favor? Aye. Aboard, Mr. Clerk. What are you gonna grow on your farm?
People out here, not really, that you be able to put in. Frozen, then come in and make their own bread or pasta.
Thank you. The approval, motion for the approval of assistant principal.
Shana Ritchie.
Dana Ritchie. By Mr. Ritchie. Second. By Pamela Starlson.
All right, Mrs. Ritchie couldn't be here tonight as she's in Breckenridge, Colorado with her family. She has been in education for 20 years and has worked in positions ranging from special day class teacher to general education teacher in grades 4 through 8. She is currently a literacy coach for the Palmdale School District, reinforcing phonics skills, teaching students the science of reading, and providing coaching sessions for teachers. She has served as an ASB advisor, English language development lead, grade level lead, teacher mentor for many new teachers, the administrative intern, and a WASP coordinator. Mrs. Ritchie is proud of her two beautiful daughters, and I quote, who have blossomed into amazing young women, and they make me proud every day. She's passionate about running and walking events for charity and doing community service work with her sorority sisters. She likes all things water, reggae music, scrapbooking, and dancing.
First, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Yes.
Vote passes 4-0. Congratulations. Motion for the approval of a coordinator of early childhood.
Crystal Parker.
Park. Second by Mr. TP.
All right, Ms. Parker has been in education for 19 years and is presently Vice Principal of Outreach and Interventions for the Antelope Valley Union High School District. She holds a PA in Child Development and 2 master's degrees, one in Curriculum and Instruction and the other in Administrative Leadership. She is the proud mother of 3 daughters who were raised to love education, and she's passionate about dancing as a formally trained dancer, and she's here.
Well, then we should vote. Favor, say aye. Aye. Vote 4-0. Okay. Other than motion for the approval of a coordinator of curriculum and instruction.
Miss Ann Valenzuolo.
And Zorro?
Valenzuolo.
Zorro. Motion by Ms. Mann. Second by Ms. Carlson. Go ahead, Mike.
Right, Ms. Valenzuolo spent the past 10 years as an executive director of curriculum and instruction in Washington. Prior to that, she worked in Connecticut as coordinator of English language arts, social studies, library of media, and assessment. She began her educational career in North Haven, Connecticut, where she taught high school English for 12 years. She is most proud of helping her current school district make a successful transition to the science of reading-based literacy instruction, which leads to increased numbers of students reading on grade level. On a personal note, Anne is proud of her sense of adventure. She moved across the country alone and takes frequent solo trips to national parks. She enjoys being in nature, spending time with family, and listening to jazz. She is not here tonight. She's packing her things in Washington.
Well, then we should vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Vote passes 4-0. Where'd you see it? Another motion for the approval of a coordinator of
Dr. Arturo Chavez.
Motion. Second by Mr. TP. Please, Mike.
Dr. Chavez began in education for 10 years ago and is presently a coordinator of community schools for West End Community Schools. He graduated from CSUN with an undergrad in psychology and then attended UCLA, where he earned an MSW and PPS credential. He began his career in education as a school social worker, later returning to UCLA to pursue another master's in education and an administrative credential. Last year, he completed his doctorate in education at UCLA. Dr. Chavez is really proud of supporting students and families in different ways. It began when he was a wrestling coach at San Fernando Idaho High School, and then became a school social worker providing direct services. Since then, he's worked alongside with various state, district, and county offices to support students and families. He's an active social dancer and can be seen taking salsa classes regularly and going to dance events every weekend. He's with us tonight.
He is with us tonight. We're gonna see if he's gonna dance, and all in favor, say aye. Aye. Dr. Chevin. The vote was 4-0. Now they're gonna move to the approval of classified specialist of school safety and emergency management.
Javier Villalobos.
Pierre Villalobos. I have a. By Ms. Carlson. Second. I'll make a second. From Dwayne Williams. And go ahead, Mike.
All right, Mr. Villalobos has been a warehouse asset tech with the district for 4 years, but was a law enforcement officer for 7.5 years in the state of Georgia. He has an associate's degree in criminal justice and became a certificated police officer for the state of Georgia at 21, receiving multiple awards, including a life-saving medal, deputy of the year, and then the narcotics award. He is proud of his 2 beautiful daughters, his Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and the chance for this opportunity to serve the Lancaster School District in a new capacity. His hobbies are fishing, camping, playing sports, and spending time with friends and family. And he is not here tonight as he had a family emergency in another state.
Okay, well, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Vote passes 4-0. Congratulations. Okay, motion for the approval of a variable term waiver for the 24-25 school year. Motion by Ms. Manning. Edwin. Question? All in favor? Aye. Vote passes 4-0. Okay, approval of a motion for the approval of a provisional internship permit for the 2024-25 school year for Eric Branch, Moderate Severe Desert View, Magdalena Velasquez, Moderate Severe Discovery, Ralph Zellers, and multiple subject Mariposa. Moved by Mr. TP. Second by Ms. Starlson. Questions? Favor? Aye. Vote passes 4-0. Congratulations. We'll move on to 15, which is addressing the board individuals. Here's where I'm gonna let those people wish to leave who've been announced and wish to have some evening time, maybe to go out for ice cream or cake or whatever. But please feel free to go if you need to. I have no problem, especially for the younger ones who probably find this just a little bit out of their reach. It doesn't go for you, George. Thank you all for coming and congratulations. So addressing the board, individuals who wish to address the board may complete a speaker card and present it and supporting document to the superintendent's assistant or other district official prior to the start of this meeting. Personal information such as student, parent, guardian's name, address, phone number, date of birth, email address, or other directory information as defined in the code 49061 may be excluded from the minutes of the meeting by submitting a written request to the superintendent. Dr. Marietti will recognize individuals who wish to speak, individuals wishing to present testimony to the board concerning specific items on the agenda may do so once that item has been moved, seconded, is on the floor for discussion. Time limits of 3 minutes per person and 20 minutes per item shall be allowed, as per board bylaw 93. Board members may ask questions for clarification purposes. However, no action may be taken and no discussion may take place on an item not on the posted agenda, not for the browser. Our comments from PTA? CSEA? No? The audience?
There are no, speaking.
Well, thank you. Harry, you're looking like you have a smile. Is there something you want to ask? Okay. All right, let's move on to 16 consent agenda items for the superintendent. Like a motion?
Motion.
By Ms. Mann, second by Ms. Carlson. And a lot of things on here. Are there any questions? Anybody have any questions answered? As always, donations are really appreciated. See that we got clothing for children and teens, from the Homedale Trophy to the Welcome and Wellness. Sure they can really use them. So, other than that, if no favor, say aye. Aye. Vote 4-0. This would be motion from all in favor? Aye. Well, first I should. Right. All in favor, say aye. 4-0. All right, number 18. Set agenda items, educational service. Heard a little bit about some of the con apps and they're going on, but have a motion. But this man, second by Ms. Carlson. And let's see. Question. In favor, say aye. Vote passes 4-0. Set agenda items, human resource. Motion. Wilson. Second from Rosemary Mann. This Mike, I'm familiar with the teachers, that's not the great. Okay. Okay. I wasn't sure. I thought maybe you already had it agreed. And they weren't here to. No, I'm kidding. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Vote passes 4-0. Back to what we see. All right, consent agenda items, innovation and technology services. Carlson,
This will be your last chance to ask Superintendent Cooksey any questions.
we want to make sure that we interrogate Rebecca on each one of these items. Blackboard. It's the first one.
So that is the place that hosts our website, it's now Final Site, used to be Blackboard.
Thank you. You want to hear, I like the High Desert Music Academy.
That's for our ELOP program, so that will be music for after school.
The year?
Here, yeah.
Oh, great. Not just for some.
Nope, just for the entire school year. And beyond.
Breathe yoga.
This is a group that we contract with to come and do yoga with our kids after school.
I know. We're just making sure she understands that. So laugh. So we're making sure she gets. Oh. Who's? Here's a tough one.
This is for summer school, so the kids are going to go to Imagination City. It's a place where they can like build things and build communities. It's for younger students, so it'll be our K through second grade kids. But it's in Ponga.
Well, that is all right, well then, I will let you off the hook. Anybody else? All in favor, say aye. Thank you. All right. Does not here, so we don't believe have any legislative or policy discussion. So moving on then for comments from the board. Oh.
Welcome back. We have missed you. So I have missed you. So, next, thank you to Joshua as well as Desert View for their presentations. It is echoed around our entire district that attendance is an issue, and unfortunate that we're all having to endure this right now. We continue to make a plan to get our students in the seats, but they can't get there alone. So we got to figure out how to get these parents to get these kids to school so we can do our job. Also, thank you, Dr. Lawrence, for your presentation and your update. Look forward to what we're going to be doing next year. So everything looks really, really good. I'm excited as always. What you're going to come up with. Welcome to all of our new staff. Mr. David, you have been busy. So I look forward to getting everyone off their vacations, into their seats, into their positions. Other than that, Ms. Cooksey, you sure you don't want to stay?
No.
I thought I'd see her look up on my face and I can't leave me. So, yeah, everything that you've done thus far, and I look forward to at least hearing from you, maybe sit in the back sometime. So thank you for your service. Appreciate it.
Great job with the two schools that presented today, Ms. Sibley and Ms. Licata. Good doing a good job. It's going to be difficult. Like Pam said, is attendance is an issue. Thank you, Dr. Goings, for the presentation. Great job on family engagement. That is going to be the factor that's going to change that school. Yeah. So great job there. Congratulations to all the new school members. Thank you, Pondo, Sophie, for your donations. Welcome back. We're back. Thank you so much. You've done an awesome job. Just in the talking about all your information. However, I want to wish you a happy retirement. I will be calling you for the Barnyard Bells so that we can get the whole, so I can get you integrated with the whole auction and reaction. And you will be missed. And I'm on Facebook. So have a happy retirement. Have a great trip in Europe.
Welcome back. Great to see you. Smile and you're leading the meetings. Fantastic, as always. Good job. And Pamela filled in for you while you were gone, and she did an awesome job as well. And Rebecca, we're going to really miss you. Thank you for everything you've done for the district and always done it with grace and dignity and always had a big smile on your face and made it look easy, but we know none of it was easy. So thank you so much for everything you've done. And we're going to miss you, but we wish you the best in retirement. And you will come back and see us sometime. And great reports from Desert View and Joshua. And it was neat to see all the different school reports. They're all kind of dealing with the same issues, but they all have the excitement and the will to tackle it. And so it's great to see the motivation and their excitement for next year and all the different strategies that they're coming up with. So keep up the great work. And with that, Dr. Goins, thank you for helping with the LCAP and wrapping up this year. And looking forward to next year, getting ready to start it again. So again, it does seem like we're increasing family engagement, family involvement, and more student and activities, which I think is great because I know it was lacking during COVID. So it's great to see that coming back. So, yeah. And also with all the new positions, that was amazing to hear all the different talents and backgrounds. So I'm excited for what they'll bring to our district. So great work there too.
I also want to welcome back our president. Glad to have you back. I want to acknowledge Rebecca Cooksey and the work she's done on behalf of Lancaster School District for how many years? 11 years. And overall, how many years in education?
35.
Whew. 35 years. So that's a career. So that's something that should be. When the grandkids come, you get pulled away, and that's okay. So have fun with the grandkids. I also want to acknowledge, as we did at the beginning of the meeting, Dr. Sundberg. Dr. Sundberg started in our district in 1974. For those of us that remember 1974, I'm lucky enough to remember 1974. And he worked for the district until his retirement in 2012. And he started as a teacher. He worked up through the assistant principalship, the coordinator of curriculum, the director of curriculum, assistant superintendent, deputy superintendent, and superintendent, all positions many of us here have held or hold. And we're grateful for his time and his service he also gave to our school district and to the Lancaster community. Gary always reminds me about how he used to take off running and exercising. I think she does that because I'm usually sitting there with my head down. exhausted and how much energy he had. So we could be more like him. I also want to acknowledge all of our new administrators who came in today and those who couldn't be with us. And I also want to acknowledge HR for all the hard work. You know, it's nice to celebrate all our new administrators, but it takes a lot of energy and effort to recruit, find them, interview them, select them, and onboard them. So thank you to our HR team that did all that work. And then finally, I just want to acknowledge Juneteenth, which is tomorrow. So many of you have the day off. So I want you to enjoy the day with friends and family. Thank you.
Thank you. Ready? I only say thank you so much for the patience while I was away. I'm feeling much better. Well, at least I'm feeling better. I'm hoping you are too. Rebecca, it's going to be tough. I hope you pass on how the education or the enrollment report needs to be presented. And that's the first thing on my list. Every time, every meeting, it's right after the date, it's attendance report. And that goes to the Desert View and Joshua. I'm sorry I missed the other principals' report, but I'm sure each one of them had to talk about attendance. And it is very important. And yes, we do have some issues. I think it's changed over the years. I think it's gotten better. I see a lot of 89%, 88%, 89, 90, 92, 93. So I think it's getting better. The more we continue to talk to the parents, the more we get them involved, better we will be with our attendance. So important for the students. They have to have, the education, and they don't get it at home, and they don't get it when they're on the street, not learning. So I have to hand it to the teachers. Keep your goodwill going to the students. Keep them interested in the classroom. And for all the administrators here, keep up your good work, because that's how we represent the district. And you're doing a good job. Jordan, I'm sorry I asked you so many questions, but I just want to be sure that we let the public know all of the good things that Lancaster School District does. We're a fantastic district. Mike, thank you for stealing all the Palmdale people. No, we always like that. But at the same time, we have people like Dr. Sundberg, who grows up from being born here in Lancaster, all the way to superintendent of our school district. And for that, I am thankful. I didn't know him very well. My wife knew him quite a bit better than I. But for those of you who did know him, everybody I've talked to, I was talking to Lexi Conde the other day, and he said, that guy was just an amazing person. He was everything a gentleman could be. So with that, I close the meeting in his honor and ask for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Ms. Mann, second by Ms. Starlson. Thank you for your attendance. 7:47. Thank you very much. Good night, Rosemary.